الفخر علينا ما دعا لله.
I've been off of video games since December, so December, January, February, March, April, 4 months.
Ammar has been off video games for 4 months now. Alhamdulillah. It's good. I'm gonna be posting this up on YouTube. So,
Like I really felt it changed me because I didn't even work out when I was playing video games. I'd get home and I'd just play video games. I wouldn't even feel like working out. No, I have to get this done in the video game. I have to get this done in the video game. I was actually, like, in the video game, I was a businessman. I made a lot of money. I spent all day just finding out ways, because they had something on, like similar to eBay in the video game. So I'd buy and sell things in the video game.
It's hard to try to, when a person seeks knowledge, and if you want to try to like increase your knowledge, and when it comes to the dunya knowledge, what aspect of the dunya knowledge do you think one should try to really
focus on? The dunya knowledge, it's very flexible. Yani, it's more about what you enjoy. At the same time, it's more about what you feel.
What kind of dunya knowledge can we attain in order to raise our deen knowledge at the same time dunya knowledge?
At the same time, dunya knowledge.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. Yes. If you're talking about pure like dunya knowledge, like separated from deen, mathematics. I love math, but math doesn't really. It can't really strengthen your deen knowledge. The dunya knowledge that would help your deen is more about history, philosophy, study of the world, because that's what will help your deen. Study, because I remember when I first started really getting my faith strong, that was when I used to talk with atheists.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I used to always argue with them, and every time I argued with them, when we finished, I felt more closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, like philosophy and history and world studies, just understanding the way the world is, science.
Oh.
Actually, science and math. SubhanAllah, I thought math isn't related to Islam. Astaghfirullah, that's actually, because there's a mathematician, he said the probability of this world being created is 1 in 10, you know exponents, right?
Yeah.
10 to the power of 126 is the number 1 followed by 126 zeros. That's a giant number, right?
Yeah.
So imagine 10 to the power of that giant number. So it's 1 in 10 to the power of that giant number. That's the probability of this world being created. So a lot of atheists like to argue, oh no, it just happened by chance. Really, by chance? It's 1 in this gigantic number that would happen, and you're saying it happened by chance? And another scientist, he said the way the universe is now, how hard it is to keep the universe like stable, is similar to balancing a pencil on its tip for 25 million years. And every year it gets more and more hard to balance that pencil. That's how hard it is to keep the universe stable. And even Stephen Hawking, who was an atheist, he said if the rate of increase of the universe the rate of increase was 10 to the negative 18 seconds greater, or 10 to the negative 18 seconds less, it's not even like 10 seconds, that's like 0.00001 seconds greater or less, the universe would have either continued to expand and never formed planets, or would have collapsed in on itself if it was greater or less than.
So it's precise.
It's very precise, and it's very like a what's the word for it? It's very like it's like a balancing act, the way the universe is. SubhanAllah. Yeah, I can't believe I didn't think of science and math right away when you asked me that question. Yeah, increasing your knowledge in science and math, because now I see all these math problems, and now I see like SubhanAllah how like this math, we invented it, but like it's so hard to imagine the amount of like when you think of a math problem, when you think of like these math geniuses, how much math they do and how much math goes into their work. That is nothing compared to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I don't want to say that math that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does, because math is something relevant to us. Like the math that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows, it's probably like, you can't even say that the math Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows, because
how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created everything and orchestrated it the way it is, and the way everything falls in place and balance and right proportion.
It's phenomenal. And when you start learning more math and more science, and you start getting really in depth in that, it's just so mind-boggling. And the idea that someone could be a scientist and an atheist, or a mathematician and atheist, completely blows my mind away. I'm like, how could you be this smart, know this much about the way the world is and the way the universe is, and not believe in God, and believe that this was just random and by chance? It's a blasphemy to say that. It's just amazing. So yeah, I'd say math and science by far.
With addition to history?
Well, addition to history, to philosophy, I'd say, rather than history. Philosophy, because philosophy studies the way the world is and history at the same time. So I'd say with philosophy, but math and science are really, really good. Because a lot of good people who give good lectures are people who are like engineers or doctors, things like that. People who know the science behind, or the math behind the way this universe is created, and that fuels their faith and that fuels their Islamic knowledge. SubhanAllah, how much this Islam can go hand in hand with the math and science. It's just absolutely phenomenal. And I can't remember what the number was, but my psychology teacher was telling us that when you want to do a certain action, there are neurons in your brain that start like firing off. Want to do a certain action, and he said something like smiling took like this many thousand neurons firing off. Smiling or moving your tapping your fingers or something like that. I can't remember. And he's like, imagine how many neurons it takes to fire off to play a piano or something like that. And then he said, and like it would be thousands upon thousands upon thousands. What if one of those neurons messed up, or something went wrong with just one? Then you wouldn't be able to do that. SubhanAllah. SubhanAllah. It's phenomenal. And like the number I told you, 1 followed by 10 zeros, or sorry, 1 followed by 9 zeros is 1 billion. What number is 1 followed by 126 zeros? I tried to calculate how many, assuming each zero takes up an inch of space, I tried to calculate how many miles of zeros that would be, and it was like 1 or 10 to the power of 1 followed by like 124 miles. 1 followed by 124 zeros. That's how many miles it would take up. There's that. This universe is absolutely phenomenal.
It's shameful enough that we don't even. I don't contemplate about it enough.
And SubhanAllah, how the universe, it's so like large on our terms, but I remember there was a hadith that's like this universe compared to the footstool of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is like a ring in the desert. I heard this in a lecture by
it's actually the whole sama dunya compared to the next sama is like a ring in a desert. And the one of that sama to the one over that is like a ring in the desert to that one.
Yeah.
And it goes up and up and up.
That just blows my mind.
It does. Like
how could this giant universe be small compared to something else? SubhanAllah.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Quran.
Allah.
وجب الشكر علينا ما دعا لله داع أيها المبعوث فينا جئت بالأمر المطاع جئت شرفت المدينة